Hello and welcome,
Hey,
welcome. Hey, hi
thank you,
Tola, how are
Yvonne.
you?
I've been struggling. Like my laptop just decided to become really slow. Like it's been crazy. Wow.
Well, that's how life happens, right?
Yeah, yeah. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Awesome,
Hmm.
awesome. Well, I want to first thank you for joining me on this live to talk about advocacy. Um, and I want to thank those who have tuned in from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Yvonne Pierre, and I'm going live with Tola Makinde. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's good. You did good.
um,
Hmm.
Tola Makinde is a Nigerian change maker who is on a rescue mission, and she truly is giving hope and changing the face of Down syndrome in her country and all over the world. Again, welcome.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Yvonne.
so much for joining me. I want to start off by talking about Mo, your daughter. Um,
Okay.
what when did you learn that she had Down syndrome, and what was your initial response?
Oh well, thank you, Yvonne, for having me once again. So I had Mo 2011, April 13th, and I'd always wished for a baby girl because I had boys before Mo. Then I just saw that day that I knew that day that she didn't cry. It was kind of weird for me.
Mm.
I was terrified. Then I began to ask questions like, "Is my baby alive?" I thought I had a stillbirth. So I was so worried. Like I thought she had died. And, the doctors just kept telling me that she will be fine, but I didn't hear her cry. Um, that was 24 hours after Mo's birth. I couldn't get to see her. I didn't get to see Mo, and they said, they had to help her cry. You know, I knew they were kind of like hitting her butt, like I think that's the way they do when babies don't
Right.
cry. And then
Yeah.
she, and that was a diagnosis of already. That was like she having birth asphyxia from not crying at birth.
Hmm.
And then for a minute, I thought nothing should ever happen for to this child. God, please. And then that was the only time I would have my baby and not be happy. Everyone in the room was gloomy. The nurses were looking sad because they knew that that wasn't a bouncing baby kind of, if you permit my words. And
Right.
48 hours after, I got to hold Mo, and I was told not to feed Mo. But one thing I noticed that the doctors were coming in and out of my room, and I had a cesarean. The doctors were trooping in and out, like trying to. Sometimes they were whispering. The nurses were not smiling at my baby. Everyone was just, and I knew something was wrong. So the fifth day, I met a pediatrician that walked into the room, and he just told the other doctor, "Yes, it is. Yes, it is." I was curious. Then I stood up from my bed. I peeped into my folder and saw an asterisk, Down syndrome,
Hmm.
suggestive of Down syndrome. And then, my heart was broken. I was like, this cannot never be true. But the diagnosis came to me like 5 days after I had Mo, and then my whole world crumbled. I was in shock. I kind of like wished it away. I was having hallucinations. Everything just went wrong that moment. But at the same time, she was such a gentle, quiet baby. She wouldn't cry. She still wouldn't cry, like that. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, wow, how am I going to deal with this? Why me? I just felt so dejected, and I felt so sad and disappointed. And then at that point in time, I didn't even know about all the health issues. I was just hoping that my baby would be fine, and I started praying. So I started praying, God, can you please take away this Down syndrome? Can you please change the features? Can you please make her look like a normal child? Can you please this? Can you please that? And I went on and on and on. And I just told myself that, God, I don't deserve this type of baby. What is everyone going to say? I was so ashamed. Immediately there was kind of shame, that overwhelmed me. And wow, I think it has to do with, you're not seeing children with disabilities around, and you don't feel that families that they belong to are proud of them. So I was already thinking about what ifs, and so many negative stuff
Yeah.
started going through my mind, and I came down with a high blood pressure, and then I was rushed back to the hospital. But she was there, a quiet, beautiful baby, trying to get a hold of how to she would be able to feed.
Right.
And then I was thinking of all the things that would go wrong or could go wrong, or all the things are already wrong. And then I think I give myself, like, I was overthinking. I gave myself a hard time trying to process the news. It was
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
And then I remember very well, we didn't quite have a naming ceremony, like the type I had for my other kids. It was a very quiet one. She was so floppy, and then I began to see all of the features, and I'm like, okay, I just want to wake up one day, Lord, and I don't want to see the slanted eyes. I don't want to see the almond shaped eyes, because I remember that people, from when she was like a week, 2 weeks, and when people visited me at home, it was noticeable, because one of my friends says she's got Chinese eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I really just couldn't process all of that. But one of my doctor friends called me aside and said, and asked if I got a diagnosis. I lied. I told her no. I didn't want her to talk about it. I wasn't ready to talk about it. But she said to me, she said, whatever it takes, whatever it takes, just give her your best.
Yeah.
And then we had to start dealing with the heart issues from when she was 3 months, you know, and on until she had a heart surgery at 8 months in India.
Mm.
And then the journey began.
So how did you get from feeling the shame and the way you were feeling initially about her having Down syndrome? Well, first, did you even know what Down syndrome was?
Yeah, I knew what Down syndrome was
Okay.
then. Yeah, because one of my friend's son had Down syndrome in North Carolina, and I'd been with them. Like,
Mm.
I'd seen him every year for, I mean, I think it was 7 years old when I had my daughter, about 6 or 7. So the first thing that came to my mind was, how did this get to me? Like, why am I next? Why me? And then to answer your question, it wasn't easy, but I think I connected with my friend immediately, and then I started to say positive words to my daughter. And after that, I would cry every day, and I promised her I wasn't let her go. I wasn't gonna let her see my tears, but
Mm.
I cried every blessed day. It was hard moving away from that news, because I actually had to resign from my job. 3 months after I had her, I was just like, in my head, I was like, oh God, I'm not going to be able to cope, having to raise more, and I've known about the condition prior to that time. I just thought that I needed like 100% or 200% of my time, just to like try to figure out how to deal with the news and how to move on. So it wasn't like easy, but every day I would step out of my room 1 p.m. in the afternoon. I can't even remember if I do have breakfast, but yeah, because she was so floppy. We were struggling with feeding, we were struggling with a lot of things, and eventually, I don't know what got over me. I started taking her out. Though a lot of people were saying all sorts. Oh, why is her head so small? Why is she still wearing a hat? Why this? Why that? Why? And so I had to answer so many questions every time I took her to church or the hospital, and people were staring a lot. And then some
So
women
let's
came to
talk
greet
about
me.
that for let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
About the mindset around
Hmm.
disability in Nigeria, and is that where you got your mindset initially towards her? Was that something that was conditioned?
Well, people's mindset around disability in Nigeria is not um, is not encouraging. It's not positive. It's for the most part, people in Nigeria, because of the stigma, most people just want to like do away with a child or send the child to the rural areas like the villages to be with the grandma for those that have their parents in the villages. And then, in the urbanized areas, you wouldn't see a child like that, you know.
Mhm.
So people didn't see them as children that would thrive.
Yeah.
Some people think in Nigeria that for you to have a child like that, you must have like probably done a money ritual. Maybe you've
Mm.
gone to do a money ritual, then that's what you get in return. Or maybe you
Like
have
they're
that kind
cursed.
of child. Yeah, you have that kind of child, so it can bring you wealth. Like, I don't know, like I imagine that you have that kind of child, then you have a special room in your house that every time you open the room or a wardrobe in the room, money begins to drop. Like, so people think that for you to have that kind of child, sometimes you must have done a ritual, or you
Mhm.
must have asked for the child from the gods, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
I've heard that a lot of the culture that around, or the mindset around disability in Africa in general, um,
yeah.
is as if they are cursed.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the word. It's a
yeah,
taboo. Like,
yeah.
it's a taboo to have such a child.
So how
So
did you get to the place of acceptance? And how do you encourage new parents that you meet? Because we'll talk about your advocacy too, but how did you get to the place of accepting and really changing your mindset from believing that Mo is cursed? Or how did you change your mindset to now not only accepting your daughter, but also and going out and advocating for other kids with Down syndrome?
so this is all about getting information and being educated, or just trying to get information around what how you can help the situation. And because I had been with a child with Down syndrome years before having Mo,
Mm,
the first thing I had to do was go back to that connect, and then I had to go to the US when Mo was 1 year old, and then I got a hang of how to intervene, for Mo. And then, I think it's kind of like I was exposed, kind of, because I had been with a child like that, and yeah, it was hard for me around because of what people would say. But
yeah,
then I didn't really mind at some point, because it was something I had to make up my mind to do. And then I had a prior knowledge. So I think I'm different from someone that didn't have a prior knowledge. You
right.
get what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
because most started early intervention when she was 2 months old. And then we went on and on. Even after the surgery, we continued the intervention, and then eventually I had to go back to the US. And then I was there. I got all of my hands-on training, the knowledge, physiotherapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and then coming back to Nigeria, I was like a new, like I was kind of wired differently.
Yeah.
And then it was something I never expected like would happen. So I think I kind of like walked away from the trauma early enough. Yeah, I didn't have to stay in denial for too long. I think that's
Good.
kind of like different for me. So
Yeah.
that was what helped me like move away from the shame, the stigma, because I didn't have to stay in denial for too long. Like I told you already that when she was like 2 months old, I started intervention, even though I was still trying to like wish it away, but at the same time, I was already like doing something about it. So with all the knowledge I got from the US, from the experts, from my friend in the US, I came back a new person. I came back changed. I came back well informed. I came back determined to give her the best. I didn't care about what anybody wanted to say about it. And then she had braces on her feet. She had we're trying to correct the flat feet and the ankle rotation. So she had the on the AFOs, she had the braces, and she had a special shoe, which I always wore for her. And people were like, "Why are you bugging this child? Just take those things off her feet. Don't you have faith? Don't you have faith in God? She's healed." I'm like, "She's not sick. You guys don't know." And then I started getting a lot of that from people around me in church, especially people telling me stuff like, I don't have faith in God, really. And people telling me a lot of stuff about faith, like, really? And then people were telling me she's healed in Jesus' name. I'm like, you guys, she's not sick,
Right.
And then
Right.
I realized that a lot of people were not really informed. So most of the
Right.
time, the kind of stories here is that people are trying to cast out demons from these children. They think or they feel they are demonized, and people call them spirits. So I don't know whether good or bad spirits. I don't know what they mean by
Right.
them being spirits, but we've had stories of, like, a very funny story. Well, I don't know if it's funny to you or to anyone listening, of how a child with special needs wasn't a child, and armed robbers came to the child, armed men came to the child to the house with a gun, and then they went upstairs. They didn't see the father. I mean, they didn't see anybody in the house. They couldn't steal anything because the child was just sitting by the staircase. That special child, looking at them, and they just told themselves, "Let's walk out of this house. There's nothing to steal." And then people started saying, "Child is a spirit. She's a good spirit. She didn't allow the robbers take away anything." Blah blah. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Do
Yeah.
you understand? So I don't know why people think, oh, they're spirits. I really don't know. They might have a good point. I don't
You
know,
know
but
what? They kind of right because we're all spirits.
oh yeah,
so so we're all spirits, and the thing is,
absolutely.
yeah, like my son Zion is 19, and I've had a lot of dealt with a lot of ignorance here in the US, dealing with him having Down syndrome. So, and that's the importance of us continuing to advocate. But I think advocacy starts at home first.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
you get into a place of acceptance and recognizing that your daughter is a child, period.
Yeah.
First and foremost, she's a
Simple.
child that have
Yeah.
challenges, and she's beautiful,
Mhm.
so and I think, us accepting, me accepting Zion fully for who he is helps me accept myself too. So,
Hmm.
how do you give hope to? Because we're all flawed. So, accepting that they're flawed
Mm-hmm.
is and that they're perfectly imperfect is is key to really helping them and pushing them to get the advocacy that
Yeah.
they need. So what inspired you to focus specifically on early intervention? But before you answer that, how is the early intervention there in
Okay.
Nigeria?
Early intervention in Nigeria. Well, that just recently became very popular, like about 6 years ago. Because Mo is 10. When I first had Mo, there wasn't a lot of talk about early intervention.
Mm,
And then I remember the first time I put Mo's picture out there in 2014 or 15, somebody called her an animal. It was a
wow.
comment on Instagram. The person actually called her an F animal. And then I
Wow.
cried so much, so much. I wish I had left the comment. But guess what? I quickly deleted the comments. I was afraid. I was fretting so much. And that was a time I was seeing more children like that already. Not even the older ones, but I was seeing more children. I was paying more attention
Yeah.
to my environment. And then I began to see more children, not knowing, parents not knowing what to do with their kids, and um, children not getting help. I tried to visit the hospital. When you go to the hospital, the doctors just tell you the worst case scenarios and tell you stuff like, your child may not be able to walk till it's 4. He may not be able to read. He may not be able to write. She may not be able to sit. She may not be, yada, yada, yada. And
You're
I
right.
thought that was not good news for parents that are just coming out from the shock. Well, according to doctors, they will need to tell you all you need to know, or the worst case scenarios. But then I realized that doctors weren't even talking about what to do to help. They were just telling you that this child, usually they would have this delay. And of course, we have read that.
Right.
Google already told us that. I mean, why are you
Right.
trying to like rub it
Right.
in? Like, tell me what I need to do. And nobody was there. People just pray for you. Like, mm, it's just prayers you need. Everybody needs prayers.
Right.
And then I was trying to like, you guys don't get it twisted. What can we do to help this child? And because, I told you that at 2 months I already started early intervention. I used to swaddle Mo as a baby, and I realized that most times when I started meeting people like professionals, like therapists,
Mm-hmm.
they weren't able to tell me stuff I needed to hear. Stuff like things I heard in the US when I was in the US, when I was in the States. You know, Nobody was really explaining that much to me about what to do. And then I thought for a minute, I will never be empowered to be able to care for her. And then remember, I was going to give my best, and that was why I
Right.
resigned.
Right.
So in giving my best, I had no job, you know, I had no salary, but I thought for a second, come on, it's all about more for now. And everybody needs to understand that, because I just wanted to give her a very solid foundation. And that was what I was trying to do at that point in time. And then there was no professional or no doctor encouraging me. And I had to figure out myself. And then I would come to the US then. I would buy all sort of knickknack stuff, different stuff like that thought would be able to help Mo develop with development and everything. And my husband would be like, why are you gathering all this stuff? I'm like, okay, I love children, kiddie stuff, but I think this will be able to help Mo to, help her fingers. I think this will be able to help see clearly, or, walk better,
Right.
crawl faster, stuff like that. So I will buy stuff while coming back to Nigeria. And then, of course, I started working with professionals. Then I will share books. I bought books. I will share what I've learned from the US with them. And then we continued the journey. And then I realized that Mo was thriving. She was doing well. And by age 3, when she was like two and a half, 1.5, I put her in a crutch. And then they didn't know what to do, but they didn't want to tell me. And it was supposed to be a special needs center, a center
Mm.
for kids with special needs. And then every day they would tell me, "Oh, she said bye bye." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine. What else are you guys working on? I just want to be
Right.
in the picture, you know." Because for all UK, all of the training I had in the US, I was in a picture. I was told what to do, how to do it, and when, not to do what I thought, So, I mean, then I had to think out of the box at the same time, then share my ideas with the therapist, and we're going back and forth, back and forth. But I realized that in Nigeria, they were trying to like hoard information, and they
Mm.
didn't want to tell me at the center where she was, they wouldn't want to tell me what to do with her at home. Like, okay, it's just so I started to figure all of that by
Yeah,
myself.
they wouldn't tell you how to help. They
Yeah, I
focused
started
on the
to figure
problem.
out that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she finishes her food, when she was like 2 years, she'll just throw a plate.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to look at it like it was normal for a 2-year-old to throw a plate,
Right.
because I was trying to be proactive. So
Right.
I'll be like, okay, it's okay to throw your plate, but we have to go get your plate. So I'll
Yeah.
put it down from the high chair, get her tiny little fingers, hold on to them, grab a plate, and try to like walk her to the kitchen. And then we went on and on and on and on. And all I could do was just to continue to support her daily. So I would have interactions with her as a baby every day, every night. And it was a bath time I used for all of those learnings, and just to check what else, am I going to be taking this box soon, what are we looking at in the next 3 months. I didn't even know it. I was already like working as a therapist with my daughter. And then I, of course, would get back to the therapist. I'll give them feedback. Some of them will give me feedback. So I took her out from the center and put her in a mainstream school. But then I didn't just want her to sit around, because then I had learned about early intervention, you know,
Hmm.
and I thought for a minute, there's so much I want her to know. I'm not going to
Yeah.
rush it. It's going to be at a pace, but at the same time, I think I want to be like, I want to monitor her. I don't know, but I was just trying to
Right.
do
Right. Right.
everything. I was trying to try different things, and then, and for every time I went to Google, I was doing the right things, Especially when she was a baby and I was swaddling her. I derived so much joy. In Nigeria, it's very hot, like, but I would still swaddle her and check, just to keep doing stuff that I know would help her. And most of the things I did with her as a baby are things that are best practices, and I still do them with babies here. And I also learned them, from all of the trainings I attended, and all of my mentors that are out of the country, with all the people that connected with me the first 3 years, or I connected with out of the country the first 3 years. And I think
Right.
she's really benefited from early intervention. I really think so.
So how did you get to the place of now you have started you have your own early intervention kits
Okay, yeah.
that you yeah, tell us about the kits.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. I love this. This is giving me so much joy right now. So, for a long time, I was picking a lot of knick-knack stuff, around, and I was helping more, you know, around the house. Some things would have sounds, different types of sounds. Then we did the bubble bath thing a lot. We did water play a lot. We walked around blowing activities, different exercises that could help write. When she was 3 years old, I told myself I'd done a good job, and I just gave myself a pat at the back, because I realized that all the efforts I've put in those first 3 years kind of like were worth it, like real worth it. And it was a lot of sacrifice for me. And
Hmm.
then more started to develop like Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, she was slow, but at the same time, I was happy. Everyone around me was happy. And then people started telling me stuff like, oh, she doesn't even look like she has Down syndrome. I'm like, I don't want to hear that, please. Don't make me feel
Yeah,
good. Mm.
yeah,
She's got just little features. Oh, she's not looking too blah blah, all of that stuff. And
yeah,
then sometime, and while I started my journey with parents, with families in 2015, 14, I was visiting them at home and I realized that they didn't even know what to do. Like, you know, they didn't even, so education was last on their mind, right? They were
yeah,
worried about, oh, I just want her to talk. Oh, I just want her to be able to sit. She's 3, she's not yet walking. I just want her to be able to walk. I just want her to be these. And then I just counted myself blessed because I had worked with a lot of this stuff from when she was a baby. And then 2015, all of the stuff I had all over the house, and then they looked like junk then. When I started the center in 2015, because then I was visiting 3 families in 2014, and then I couldn't have been able to visit like 10 more families, 20 more, 40 more, 50 more. And then I knew God wanted me to do something with this children. Right then I wasn't sure if it was specifically for Down syndrome, but then because I've been able to like push more, I guess more was 4 years old, yeah, 2015, when I started the center. And then we got a 1 room space where I arranged all of the stuff. Some of them are stuff that are in this box today. I put them all over the place, looking so beautiful. And I'm like, okay, where are these kids? Where are they hiding? God, can you just make them connect with me? And then parents started connecting. People started calling in, different families. Apparently, I don't want to say they've been hiding their kids away. It's
hmm,
just because they've not been able to get help. So some, yeah,
right,
for some, yes, but for
yeah,
some, for others, it's just simply because there is no help.
yeah,
Instead, your neighbor is not even gonna like be speaking with you again or talking, because you have a child
yeah.
with a disability and they don't want to relate to you. Even if you have a shop selling stuff, they may not want to come to your shop to buy stuff again. I mean,
Wow,
it's really so sad.
wow,
Yeah. They may not, for me, I got, yeah, the stigma is real. Like,
yeah,
even at the airports, people wouldn't want to sit beside us in public places. Even in the hospital, they would move away from where you're seated. And
wow.
then,
As if that's contagious. As if Down syndrome
yes,
is contagious. Now, here
it's,
in the
yeah.
here in the United States, we have a lot of stigmas and issues around having kids with disabilities as well. It's a little different, and that's why one of the reasons why I wanted to do this and talk to people from different cultures, because often we take for granted,
Mm,
the resources we have, and the
absolutely.
and what we have available for our kids. Like Zion was maybe a couple of weeks old when he started early intervention, and they have a lot of programs and
Oh,
stuff
wow.
here. And but the stigma is still there. The stigma, there are still a lot of parents that hide their kids or don't want to accept that their child has special needs, and it's
Mm,
unfortunate because the child suffers from
yeah.
instead of the child is not suffering from Down syndrome. They're suffering from the ignorance of people around.
Ignorance. Yes. And the
So
neglect.
the
That's
and the
child
neglect.
abuse.
Yeah,
It's
it
child
is.
abuse.
It
When you
is.
neglect a child or you refuse to give a child what the child needs, like medication, whatever it is, it's still
Yeah,
part of child abuse. Yeah.
right. Right. So I want to, you know, I really love that you took a step and you didn't just um look at, okay, well, let me just focus on my daughter, and that you listen to the voice of God telling you to move forward and to help other families, and to put kits like this together, because it is not readily available in Nigeria. Early intervention
Yeah.
is not readily available in Nigeria. And that's why it's important for families to seek kits like yours. And tell me a little bit about the center. You opened the center, you said, in 2015.
Yes,
So
I did.
what is the
So,
center?
okay, so what I've put together, let me quickly wrap up the
Okay.
skate stuff. What I've put
Okay.
together would be able to help. So we have the MIDI and the mini kit. We have the MIDI kit is mini kit for age 0 to 4, and the MIDI, because
Mhm.
I'm still thinking about a maxi kit. I don't know what's gonna be in there, but
Right.
so the idea here behind this, honestly, is for me is a way of normalizing having a child with disability, bridging the gap, and then bridging the gap. Because if you look at it very well, and this is very, very critical, in the hospital, nobody is helping you start the journey. Everybody's just saying the negatives to you.
Right.
The
Right.
government, you know, has not had this in mind to do for those kids that are born differently. And then I thought this will be able to bridge the gap. At least a family that has got a new diagnosis and has this kids will know that, okay, someone is thinking about my child with this disability.
Right.
Someone has something for my child. And it's like bringing back joy, in parenting, removing stereotypes of any kind, you know, and raising advocates, promoting inclusion in the family. It starts from the family.
Right.
And the
Right.
integration of the developmental domains, because what you have here might look like toys to you, but they are very good to help to develop all of this areas where your child with special needs or with Down syndrome will
Yeah.
be needing support. And then I thought about, so the center, I started the center in 2015 when I realized that I couldn't visit 10 more families, 20 more, like I said earlier on. The center was meant to, I started the center so that people could come, to just pour out, cry if possible. We'll cry together. It's okay to cry as long as
Yeah.
you're doing something about it. Because those were the words. I used to cry a lot. So I'm like, okay, I know other people like me that just got a diagnosis would likely be crying as well. So I want to be able to hug and walks in. I wanted to be able to hug anyone that walked into the center, hug them and say, "You're doing well. It's okay to cry. Let's cry on each other's shoulders, but then let's see how can we join our hands together to support our kids." And
Yeah.
then the center started growing. And then I started seeing more babies, receiving calls for newborn cases. Today I'll get a call. I could get a call that there's a baby 3 months old, has a hole in the heart, blah, blah, blah. The next call I get, the baby is dead. You know,
Mm.
I get calls like that, and they keep passing. And I'm like, okay, the government is still not doing something right for our children.
Right.
And there are no funds, there are no access to funds to be able to help them, treat all the medical challenges that come with having a child with Down syndrome. And then I decided to focus specifically on children with Down syndrome because I realized that I'd gone deep into understanding their profile. And then with the success of my child's being going through early intervention, I believe I will be able to give more. And there are other syndromes as well, that I've met some children with other syndromes. And yeah, so definitely this kit's going to be useful as well for them. Additional needs, yes, this kit is going to be useful as well for them. But I thought for a minute, for those that are not able to come to the center for the sake of logistics or difficulty navigating their day-to-day work, and understand um, how to locate us. I thought
Right.
this kit will be able to reach them faster as well. This kids will be able to reach them. Then there is also a mentoring class that comes with this kit, and I'm working on a checklist as well that will come with this kit as well, which I'm gonna like release in a few weeks, because we just want parents to be part of the process like normal,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
make parenting easier, you know, to mentor them and let them know they're not alone. So the center started to accept children from 2015. A lot of them, a lot of parents I knew then had not heard the word early intervention. Some parents even had been told that it could change the features of their children. I'm not talking about plastic surgery. I'm
Mm.
talking about changing the genes by through stem cell,
Wow.
and that was not true. So
No.
a lot of parents would tell me stuff like, "Oh, my daughter, my son has been to pastors. We've tried to cure this child. This is an evil spirit." And then I'm like, "This is not a church. Let's talk about this. Come on."
Right. 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 These
Okay,
are
then
children.
I
Yeah.
start to educate parents.
Yeah.
I start to talk to them that, these children are everywhere. They're in China, Japan, America, Angola, and this is what it is called. It is what it is, and then you don't have to wish it away.
Right.
And nobody shops around for disability. So, I mean, it's part of life. What life, throws at you. And then I realized part of my job became like counseling, and I am not a counselor, but it was automatic for me just to, and then sometimes I have couples. One of them want the child, the other doesn't want the child. There's been so many challenges like that. And then sometimes maybe the father wants the child to be in a home or an institution where the child would need to come home to other siblings, you know. And then sometimes you hear stuff, parents saying stuff like, "I love the child, I want this child, but I can't cope with this child."
Mm.
And then there are cases whereby some parents are not even like, they're from disadvantaged homes. The poverty is real, and so Down syndrome is not a respecter of whether you're rich or poor.
Right.
It don't matter your tribe, your
Right. They don't
like.
discriminate.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes it's really hard when you hear the stories. And then, like I said, so that was why I made sure that it was okay for people to just let down, yet, cry and just cry.
Right. Right.
And then we start looking at how do I join you on this journey? How can we support you? And I knew that I was tending towards those families that really needed support financially. And then I needed funds to be able to run this. But I knew it
Right.
was God's way of saying, "Hey, you can do this. Just move. Just go. Just do
Yeah.
it."
I'll give you the provisions. Yeah.
Yeah. So
For
I never for one day thought um about where am I gonna get money from. Like it never crossed my mind. But then the question was like, how am I gonna do it? Like, and then I kept hearing, "You can do it. You can do it." And that was why I put the blessing in you, for you to have been able to get your experiences or your training or whatever from different parts of, outside Nigeria, the UK, the US, and I was just doing those things for my daughter. I never
yeah.
knew I'll be getting more adopted children, like
He was
many.
preparing. He
Yeah,
was
so
preparing you.
it was preparing me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I visited the Down Syndrome International then, and then I've been sending emails back and forth to tell them I was coming, and I've gone for conferences, trainings, and I'm like, "God, you were really preparing me, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed. Who would have believed that I would? This is what I'll be doing now. Like, I am very impatient. I've always, I like things moving fast for me, you know.
Well,
So,
I really commend you for all that you have done for, and let me throw that picture back up, for all that you've done for people with Down syndrome there in Nigeria. I think that it was necessary. I think that when God put it on your spirit, it's time to move and not worry. And I commend you for that part, for moving
thank
on
you.
it and not being concerned about how am I going to do this, because you saw that it was a serious need. And I would
Mm,
say life and death need, to really advocate and create early intervention, because early intervention is truly, truly key for our kids. And
yeah.
and to really be there and be supportive, not beyond just the early intervention, but being supportive to the parents, because the parents are key.
Yeah.
The parents are truly, truly how they cope and how they deal with having a child with special needs really, really impacts the development of the child. So
Absolutely.
what advice, if you can give a parent one bit of advice, a new parent, no matter if they're there in Nigeria or here in the US, what advice would you give them? What advice would you give a new parent?
Okay. A new parent. First of all, I would like a new parent to know that that child is not a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. You had this child. Yeah, this child could have gone to another family, but this child was chosen to come through you.
Hmm.
So you have to look at the brighter side of life. You have to, one thing I realized that my daughter actually gave me hope. Not that I gave her hope or I'm giving her hope,
Right.
because the situation sometimes looks very hopeless, absolutely
Yeah.
hopeless.
Yeah.
So she gives me hope. The look in her face, like going through all of the heart surgeries, you know, you have a son with Down syndrome, so you know all the
Yeah.
things we they have to deal with.
Yeah.
And then I was sharing with a doctor yesterday that it is too overwhelming. And then I see them as a star because of all they have to go through,
Yes.
all the medical stuff, all the stuff going on. And then I want parents to know that if they reach out, they can be supported.
Yeah.
If they reach out. So it's not
Right.
about reaching out, because everyone wants a desired result for their child.
Right.
Sometimes you look at them and you think, oh, nothing good can come out of them. But we can judge. We are not to say that, because you never know how far they can go. We
Yeah.
never know,
Yeah.
you know. So I want them to look into the child's eyes and just see the rainbow. Let the rainbow remind them of hope. Let it remind them of a promise that God never fails,
Mm.
irrespective of the situation you find yourself in. Sometimes it couldn't have been your child having Down syndrome. It could be something else,
Yeah.
But I just want parents to remember my story, and then all they want to think about is having hope in that hopeless situation.
Yeah.
And that's part of why I'm sharing my story. And then I believe also that parents should take it a day at a time, because there are incentives that comes with those things. You never know.
It is. It is.
Yeah, you never know. So
Countless life lessons that was very unexpected. We I really consider myself blessed, with both of my sons, but Zion having Down syndrome have really, really made a major impact on my life, and of course Mo has made a major impact on yours. What How have she changed your life? If you could sum it up, um, in a cute little bow, how have she changed your life?
She has helped me shift my perception about a lot of things. Like when you think something is impossible, and then again you just want to keep like, she's made me a star. I don't know how to even explain it in a nutshell,
Yeah,
because everything I thought was impossible and truly is impossible just sometimes just turns around. And then I started calling this sharing of my story my lemonade story, because I just can't believe where we're at now.
yeah,
So she's made me find my true self.
mm,
I never knew some things. I was like, my is it my blind spot? Is it what
yeah,
it's called?
yeah.
Yeah. And
Good.
people say, "Oh, I never saw that in me." Even though some people saw that, oh, when and some people say, "Oh, you're strong," I'm like, those people don't know I'm not strong. I'm a crybaby. Oh my goodness, you know. So I think, yeah, she's made me a new person. Like I found myself again. I evolved. She's made me to continue to evolve, because I have rediscovered myself, my passion. I never knew that I could teach.
Yeah,
I thought I would just work in a bank, count money, keep people's money safe. What
yeah.
else? Train people. And when I was
You
working in the
started off
bank,
as a banker, right?
yeah, I was already
Yeah,
rising. I was
yeah,
it was at it was at the point of my career where I was getting a promotion already, at the point when I was heavily pregnant, and then I had more. I never went back to work, and people were like crying, "Why when I come back to work?" I'm like, "Why did I resign?" And people like, they don't even know. They didn't know I had a daughter with Down syndrome. So my life, I don't know whether it's okay to say that my life completely changed for
yeah,
better.
yeah,
Is it okay to say that?
yeah. It is.
Because I will never be able to teach nobody.
Yeah, yeah,
So I learned patience, right?
hmm, yeah,
Perseverance,
yeah.
endurance,
Faith.
how
Yeah,
to be grateful, how
yeah.
to have faith.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we had an emergency when we're told Mo's device kind of shifted. And I'm like, what's that? And then they came with another heart condition, said it was a coarctation of the aorta. And
Mm.
boom, I found myself in Florida, not planned, no money. God sent an angel to me. She passed last year with COVID,
Mm.
an American sister. I stayed with her for 6 weeks. She was
Yeah.
a total
My
stranger. I'm
condolences.
sharing I'm sharing this openly because I
Yeah,
know this is one of the incentive. Guess where I met her?
yeah.
I met her at the duty free.
Mm. No, I said my condolences. My condolences
Yeah.
for your loss.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. She was an
And she was an
amazing,
angel. She was an
yeah.
angel. Yeah.
Dennis, rest in peace. I love you
Yeah.
so much, Dennis. She was so amazing. And because of Dennis, I met a granddaughter with Down syndrome in El Paso
Mm-hmm.
because of Dennis. I mean, last year during COVID, she still sent us gummies, omega-3 gummies. She sent my sons 12 different types of face caps. Dennis has been a blessing because she booked all the appointments took us to all the scans, took us to all the x-rays around Tampa in Florida, where Mo had to see one of the best pediatric cardiologists.
Yeah.
And then we got a reduced fee. I don't even know how these things happen, like seriously. So that's why I say
Yeah.
these is just definitely one of the incentives. And there are many more coming.
Yeah. It
Absolutely.
it keeps going. I mean, the blessings, I'm constantly with Zion, and Zaire, both my sons, but with more so because of the challenges that I've been through with Zion, have really, really, shifted, how I see the world, how I, see challenges, how I see my own flaws, and that's why because someone asked me, um why do I consider myself blessed,
Mhm.
for having a child with Down syndrome, and because of all the lessons, and because of Zion is a cool kid.
I know we can say that again.
I really enjoy, being around him, and
Being
I
a
take him
mom.
everywhere
Yeah.
with me. That's my road dog. um, so I really, the impact that they have on our lives is priceless. And it's
Mhm.
kind of hard to, even though you touched on the words faith and patience and all the things, but it's really, really hard to sum up everything that we have learned about life, ourselves, God, faith, in an hour. So, um, so I want to ask too. You've been on this advocacy journey for a while. How rewarding, have this advocating has been for you, and even beyond advocating for other families. We're all, I mean, all parents in a sense should be some type of advocate, speaking for their kids. And even if it's at the doctor or at school, where we've all had situations where we had to, advocate for them. You don't have to be public like we are, but we're all in a sense, the voice for our children. But I want you to share, how rewarding it's been on this advocacy journey for helping other families.
Thank you for the question. It just takes my mind back to when I got this big picture in my head. That day I was in my living room, and then I wanted something from the kitchen. But what I saw when I just sat down about to watch TV, I just was in my subconscious, like I can't even like explain it. I just kind of imagined, yeah, those children like Mo sitting around me, and I
Mm,
just couldn't watch the TV. We were playing together. Some of them were jumping on me. Then we were working with colorful bricks, building Lego, building blocks, and
yeah,
then we were just playing. Then I just kind of like waved. What kind of picture am I seeing? Like, I waved it, like, and everything disappeared. Then I went to the kitchen, tried to take water, something. Same picture, like that picture never left my head. And this thing kept playing in my head until I started seeing more children like more out there needing help. And then I said, God, what are you trying to say to me? And then I had the voice. I was alone in the room. I was folding clothes, and imagine you heard another voice and like you were alone. And then I just busted into tears because I knew that God wanted my voice. And
yeah, yeah,
how am I gonna do this? Like, I am quiet. I don't even like people to hear me. Like, And then God said, "You are not alone."
yeah,
I need you out there.
Yeah.
And then that was how the advocacy journey began for me. Like there was a fire in me. I couldn't even help it because I'm not the type, trust me, that will ever come out to do what I'm doing. Like seriously, I can't even
Yeah.
believe it. But you know, that was how everything turned around for me, and I can't even believe I'm this person I am today. Like, oh my gosh! So I give it all back to God. It's been rewarding.
Yeah.
It's come with a lot of benefits. It's come with a lot of blessings. It's come with a lot of satisfaction, fulfillment. You know, it's been a very huge positive distraction for me. You
Yeah.
know, it's taken away all the bad thoughts I used to have, like all the trauma. Yeah, I know. I was telling my doctor yesterday that I should be off my BP medication. That apparently I've accepted my daughter has Down syndrome. Why am I still having a blood pressure?
Right.
I was diagnosed 2 weeks after her birth. You know, when I started having hallucinations, headaches that wouldn't go away, and then my BP had risen so badly from worrying about what will people
Yeah.
say. I have a child,
Yeah.
not particularly from worrying about how am I going to get money to take care of her. Like
Right.
it is from worrying about, oh my God, the shame, the oh my God. And yeah, I was able to beat that, you know, everything that came with it. I've been able to, and I know definitely because she's a fighter, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's
And to
been
help other parents
amazing.
with that is amazing. Helping other
It's,
parents.
yeah.
Um, and I think too, you had to endure that and face that in order to help other families. It's hard to help a family with, you know, empathize or have some compassion. Um, it helps you become more compassionate because the way you went through your journey and having to face and face whatever it is you was feeling and come to a place of acceptance of your daughter, that enables you to do the same for other parents, to have that conversation with other parents. It's hard to have that conversation is what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to have that conversation
Yes, yeah.
if you haven't been through it, you know. So being able to walk them through that, and I'll say it again and again and again, that I
Mm-hmm.
truly commend you for uh, stepping up to the plate, stepping out on faith, and helping with early intervention and helping parents cope with seeing their well-deserved children. So also, if you could change one thing in the world, what would it be?
One thing, well, if I could change one thing in the world, it would be the way people look at my daughter. Like, if I could change one thing in the world, it would be me telling people to give them a second chance, give them an opportunity, just change the way people give up on them easily.
Receive them, yeah.
And that is why I've been talking about acceptance. So there's been a lot of talk about awareness, but then can we take a minute to talk about acceptance?
Yeah. Yes.
That is that is what I think should really change. Because
Yeah.
even for both of us, they don't have Down syndrome. If you accept me the way I am,
Right.
and I accept you the way you are,
Yeah.
knowing fully well that I cannot change anything about the way you are or who you are or whatever it is trying to change about you, as long as I know that I can't change it about you,
Yeah.
I need to accept you.
Yeah.
Because from acceptance, then you can talk about love, and love changes everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna say that. When we love somebody, you know, whether it's our mate, our relative, or a friend, when you love somebody, you tend to see beyond their flaws.
Yeah.
Um, so we have to let love lead
Yeah.
um, us with how we accept our children. And the main, and that's the core thing, is loving on them, truly, truly loving them. And that's one of the things I think that Zion have truly taught me. He's taught me
He's
how
a star. You said so. He's such a cool kid.
he is. He taught me how to love and how to, you know, um, be patient, like you were saying,
Mhm.
and be,
Yeah.
and accept, because I accepted him, but I had a hard time accepting other people. Not not just, not people with disabilities or
I
anything,
know.
you know, people for making, have learning to give people some grace. Um,
Hmm.
it is has been a major lesson for me, and I thank my kids for that. More so the things that I've been through with Zion, having to see the challenges that he's been through, and how he's not invited to certain things, and the acceptance that other people lack. And I had to realize that that's not the most important, that what most important for him is that I love him and
Yeah.
that I accept him. And this has been an
Absolutely.
awesome conversation. I'm really
Mhm.
thankful that you joined me on my first live, my
Oh, wow.
very
Nice.
first live. Um, how can people support your efforts?
Okay, so we're taking donations. The foundation takes donations from the public, so people can choose to donate funds monthly. It doesn't matter the amount, because those funds will help us to continue to support children that need medication, that need early intervention, that need that have Down syndrome and need clothing, that
Yeah,
have Down syndrome and need education, their therapies, informal education. Some of them need to feed well as well. So we're trying our best at the moment, and everything we're able to do is because people have been supporting with as little as
yeah,
little. There's no. I can put a price on it.
yeah. Even if it's a
No.
dollar. Yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean, so some people send in like omega-3 supplements from time to time.
Mm,
And we have some children that are on medication to preserve their hearts. We need
okay.
funds regularly to pay for that monthly. Then we have teachers, we have therapists, we have specialists that work with us. The foundation has about 20 something, about 23 staff. And then we're trying to see if they can, so some are academic and non-academic staff. So we need to keep raising awareness, and then I can do this alone. It's not about me.
Right,
So
right.
we need funds to keep this moving. So actually, some parents, it's not like really they want to put their kids, because I get calls like parents calling me, they have a 3-year-old. Do we have a boarding house, like an institution where they just want to keep the kids? I'm like, no. So I've
Yeah,
been encouraging parents to keep their kids with them until they're 10, you know, and then we're looking into starting a boarding facility, not because parents want to dump their kids, but because we want the kids to like be able to be independent, like live normal lives,
right.
and then train them, get them ready for jobs, do various assessments with them, like job assessments, get job coaches for them, then job placements, different activities that would continue to help with their development, help them thrive even when they get jobs eventually. Then, try to help them to be able to fight for their rights,
Yeah,
train them as self advocates. That's why I know that we need to like run a budding facility pretty soon. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but like I said,
Yeah.
these are some of the reasons why we need continuous funding to be able to keep the work going, to be able to expand the work. In January, we started another somewhere far away from. It's a bit of distance from where the main center is. So we've kind of rented a place. We're in a school so that parents that live around there can access support for their child or their children or their wards with Down syndrome. So I'm saying specifically Down syndrome because like I'm just trying to get to ensure that every aspect of their learning, every aspect of their development that needs intervention are being addressed, so that we
Yeah.
can continue to do different trainings, and then eventually we are hopeful for great results. So
Yeah.
that's why we need people to keep supporting with funds.
Yeah. And how do they do that? How do
Okay.
they?
Yeah. So at the moment, if you want me to post our account number, I don't know. I can post that, but maybe in your post. But let me say here that we have an
Yeah.
account in Nigeria. We have a domiciliary account in Nigeria. Yeah, where we can receive dollars. So
Okay.
there is a domiciliary account apart from trying to pay into through the website. We have yeah, because the website thingy then it's not really going through. We're
Mm,
using Paystack. We're supposed to be using Paystack. Like we're supposed to shift from PayPal to Paystack, but then we have a domiciliary account. I don't think I have the number here, but I can post that to you.
okay.
And
Yeah.
then
And I'll
yeah,
add it to the post. I'll add it
yeah,
when I upload the recording. I'll add all the links and stuff. If you can send me those links,
sure.
um, where people can donate
Yeah, support.
towards your
Yeah,
efforts.
yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
where can they
Yeah.
go? Where can they go to get in touch with you as far as on social media?
Instagram is more rainbow underscore Down syndrome. Facebook is more rainbow Down syndrome foundation. And then my personal Instagram is talk to Tola Makinde. Talk TALK to the digit Tola TOLAMAKINDE. Talk to Tola Makinde. Then yeah, I mean more rainbows Twitter handle. I'm not really we post on Twitter, but I mean for the most part they can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We're very active in those
And I'll
handles.
put those links in
Yeah,
the
and the website. The
part.
website.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
send you the website.
yeah, send me
Yeah.
all that and I'll list it when I post the recording. Um Again, thank you so much for talking with me today. It has been an
You're
absolute
welcome.
pleasure. And I really want people to understand the urgency, the importance of helping your efforts there in Nigeria. Because we don't sometimes, like I said earlier, we take for granted the resources we have here. So, and like you mentioned earlier, any donation would help your efforts to
Yeah,
help families with Down syndrome, um, and it is a rescue mission.
it
Um,
is.
to really, really hone in and help families cope, early intervention and all that you're doing at the center. I see you post all the time, dances and plays and all kind of stuff that you're doing with the kids.
Drama,
Yeah,
arts, cooking.
yeah,
It's
you so
amazing. I
yeah,
get inspired every blessed day.
yeah. So, thank you for seeing our children. Thank you for, not just seeing them, but helping their families see them, and helping them feel seen. So,
Yeah.
you have been an absolute blessing to children in Nigeria, that have Down syndrome. And I truly, truly, truly admire and I appreciate all that you're doing, to help the kids. And I thank you for for coming on my live to talk about it.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for inviting me.
yeah, yeah, I really admire your work and I
And
appreciate
you're
all.
doing a lot as well. Like I said, I was struggling with writing a book.
Yes.
I'm still gonna write that book.
Yes, yes,
I've
you
got my
are.
manuscript. I'm
Yes,
gonna be needing your help. I'm
yeah.
gonna be chasing you down
You ain't gotta chase me.
pretty soon.
I'll willingly help you. But
Oh,
yeah,
thank you so
yeah,
much.
I really yeah, is just let me know when,
Yeah.
and we can get started. I'll
Okay.
help walk you through it. That's what I'll
Can
do.
I share the manuscript with you?
Yeah, you already started.
Oh, I just got
Okay,
the
yeah,
manuscript. I got
yeah,
chapter
you
one
can.
done already.
Okay, yeah, you can email it to me. Yeah, you can
I
send
got
it.
chapter one done like 2, 3 years ago. I never went back.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. We whenever you ready, just
Okay.
email it to me, and yeah, I'll help you as much as I can
Thank you
from
so
here.
much. I
But yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah,
Mhm.
I wanna see you win. Yes,
Oh, yes. Same
yeah,
here. Good. What are sisters for anyway?
yes. Well, thank you again, and I want to thank those of you who have tuned in from Facebook,
Stephen
Twitter,
Cooks. Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, that's my
Mhm.
husband. Thank you.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and but thank you everyone who have tuned in. Thank you, Stefan, for your support, husband.
Thank you.
And make sure that if you have tuned in from Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, be sure to like the page. And follow me on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. And until next time, um, truly be blessed. God bless you, and thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
All right.
so much, Yvonne. You're a wonderful and amazing human being.
Oh, thank you. Ditto. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, same
All right.
here.
All right. Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.